Hi, I'm Pastor Kay. I am the founding pastor of Community Lutheran. I had the privilege back in the late 80s to get this thing started as we started when I was a member of Grace Lutheran. And what a blessing.
Hi, I'm Pete Deloo, and as Pastor Vogelsang likes to say, I was the first elected president of Community Lutheran.
Pete and I started looking all over with Tommy Tomlinson, and we started looking at land all over the city. We decided we'd look on the east side of town,
Yes.
and that's when we found the property that is now the spot where we are today. And it was nothing but barren land. There were no homes there. But I'd found out from the city that they had planned years down to make a development. And so I just had to tell Synod that the development was going to come, and they believed us, and of course it did, and fantastic things have taken place. We looked at all the various schools that were available, and it was interesting, not all the boards wanted us, but Orange Glen was very welcome to us. The principal was understanding and gave us the little auditorium, but it was small. And so when you have 100 people in there with kids running all over, but it was just neat. We still could serve our coffee and donuts outside, and it was just an exciting experience.
Then we moved to Grant Middle School, which is now Mission Middle School, and stayed there about a year, I think. And then they decided they were going to have to renovate the air conditioning system at Grant, and we couldn't meet there during the summer, so we had to hurry around and look for someplace else. And Herb Connors, another member of the congregation, found Hidden Valley Middle School and got us a great auditorium, wonderful facility for a church. One of the problems we had in conducting church services in schools around the city was moving the material in and out every week. And Dave Son and his pickup were invaluable in doing that. We'd load all the hymnals or the Bibles, we'd load in all the altar wear, we'd load in his pickup, and then he'd show up the next Sunday morning and we'd unload it. Luckily, the seats at Hidden Valley were theater-type seats, so they were great places to sit, and you didn't have to move furniture every week. But we did have to take down some children art and that sort of thing and put it back up after the service was over.
I think another good feature, and I think of you when I think about it, we had valet parking from our very beginning.
Yes.
We always had at least 7 people in the parking lot to park your car.
I remember the Clothiers, Ruth and Don Clothier, and Barbara and Russ Clothier. The Clothier, the guys were brothers, and they both showed up at the first service and didn't know that the other one was coming. One thing I'll never forget is the night we finally got final approval from the council, and all the people that were at the council meeting, and there were a lot of us, we all gathered around the fountain at City Hall and sang the doxology. It was fantastic. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Our first service was Christmas Eve in '92, I think.
I don't remember the year, but I think it's Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, and it was great. We had the place packed.
Yeah.
I think God was wanting it to happen all along. He didn't make it easy. He didn't make it as easy as he could have. But that's part of the process.
But I think one of the real strengths of our parish is Pastor Vogelsang. You need to have a pastor like him preaches without notes. For example, I don't want you to misunderstand, but we didn't want district to give us a name for our pastor, because I always felt they gave you names of either fellas that had to be moved or they wanted to move. And I wanted someone that didn't want to move and was doing a super job. And I'd heard about Pastor Vogelsang through his parents, heard about the tremendous job he was doing in Arkansas, and I said, if it's God's will, that's the guy we want to get. So I didn't even ask Synod. So I was not very popular because I broke a few rules. But you know how I operate. But anyway, he's our blessing.
Yes.
And his message, Christ-centered, without notes, that was another one of the rules we had, because I've never preached with notes, and I didn't want anybody up there with notes. And a calling pastor. He's out in the homes. He's making the visits. He contacts. And then the warmth, like you said, Pete, the warmth of our people. All those things fit together and they make a unit that's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's the friendship in the congregation and the camaraderie in the congregation. And I think, of course, the greatest strength is to stick to the Word and stick to the doctrine. And I think we do that very well. I've been in other congregations that didn't do it so well. and had problems because of it.
Well, you know, 50 plus, it was interesting how it got started. You know, we have a lot of older members along with the younger ones, and some of the older folks said, do you have anything special for us? And I don't know how the idea came, or I don't even know who came up with it, but all of a sudden someone hit the idea, what about a 50 plus? And so we just put out the word, and that's what started it, and it's been growing ever since. And we said it would be an hour of Bible study, and then good food. Unless you're active, you're never going to be a blessing to that parish. And everybody's got an ability, at least one. I have never in all my life of, 87 years, seen anybody without ability. You've all got it. You need to find the spot then where you would be comfortable serving the Lord. But you need to be active in Sunday morning as contributing part of your life, not just your pocketbook. You need your time and your abilities in that building of that program, sharing the gospel of Christ. Because you've got it, and the more you do it, the greater you grow in your relationship, the stronger you grow, and you're far more effective. And we are a blessed parish. Like Pete, man, we're loaded with ability.
That's right, that's right. And when you see a visitor on Sunday morning, you've got to talk to the visitor.
And you got to give them a hug or a handshake, whatever you feel comfortable with.
And see, I'm to the point now where I'm a little hesitant because I don't know everybody. I used to know everybody. And now you don't know everybody. And it's kind of embarrassing. You go up to somebody and say, it's nice to have you visiting, and you find out he's been a member for two months or something. But you got to get over that. You got to get over that. And it's, the one thing that you hear from all the new members is that this is a very friendly church. And that's one thing we really set out to be when we started. And I think that's continued and been picked up.
Well, it's been a fantastic blessing for me. I think pastors are the hardest people to please. And I don't have a Sunday that I don't come home and Ruth and I share together what a blessing the service was. Pastor fed us today. And the music, we've got an exciting music program. I mean, you can't come without being charged up when you hear the music program, when you see the involvement of the youth, everybody that's participating. And it just, for me, it's just a tremendous stimulation spiritually. And that's what you're ready for the week because we've been there Sunday morning.
This was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, to be president of a mission congregation like that.